and my brother was 10, and we was upstairs watching television. And he looked at me and he said, when I grow up, I'm gonna kill somebody.
Charleston White shot to fame by calling out and beefing with some of the most feared rappers in the game.
I was out on a year of probation for shooting at some white people at a pizza inn for calling me a nigger.
But now, his spotlight's starting to dim, and behind all the drama is a dark, violent past that most people don't even know about.
So we went in there, tried on hats, tried on jackets, and ran out.
This dude made waves snitching on rappers, boldly saying that gang members should either be locked up or straight up wiped out.
Spent 9 months in segregated lockdown in the GRU program. I was a gang leader. I was kicking off riots.
But here's what folks rarely talk about. Charleston was caught up in a homicide case back when he was just a kid.
I want to remind Soulja Boy, you ain't got no motherfucking ops, nigga. And watch them you, and watch them you. Remember you was on your tiptoes, nigga. Remember you was a tiptoeing nigga ass nigga. Yeah, nigga, you ain't got no motherfucking ops, nigga. Nothing about you was...
He grew up in Fort Worth, Texas. Even though his dad was nowhere in sight, his mom held it down. She kept him and his brother fresh with clean clothes, hot meals, and whatever they needed. But even with a stable home, Charleston and his brother still dove headfirst into the streets. When Charleston was just 8, his older brother, who was only 10, straight up told him, "I'm gonna end somebody." That wasn't just talk. Charleston said his big bro was always wild, always mad at the world. And maybe that pain came from growing up without a father around.
TSF niggas, the titty, sissy, fat, just got their ass maced too, nigga. I'm going mace crazy.
A few years later, his brother made good on that dark promise. The details are still murky, but when Charleston's brother hit 17, he actually took someone's life. He ended up getting slapped with a brutal 99-year prison sentence. But the twist: by the time that went down, Charleston was already behind bars himself. This whole story's wild. Charleston was already dealing with heat from his brother's homicide case, but instead of playing it safe at home, he chose to chase the street life. Even though things at home were solid, his mom made sure he had everything. Charleston still looked up to the kids from the projects. He wanted that street rep. So at just 12 years old, he ran away and threw himself into the chaos of the streets. While some kids eased into crime by hustling small stuff like weed, Charleston skipped the slow grind. By 14, he was already locked up for wild behavior. He pulled out a strap and started shooting at people inside a restaurant. No one got hit, but it was serious. On top of that, he caught an attempted homicide charge after boosting a car and trying to mow some dudes down with it.
Say, y'all, Charleston White still undefeated again. The internet cannot, they were trying to record and get clout. Charleston White still undefeated again. He riding home with the back end money without a mark or a blemish on it.
Despite how serious it was, the judge gave Charleston probation. But just 2 weeks later, everything exploded. He and his crew ended up taking an innocent man's life. It all started with a dumb plan to jack some jackets from Foot Locker so they could look fresh for the club. The craziest part? Charleston's mom would have bought him anything if he just asked. He didn't need to steal. Charleston and his squad walked into Foot Locker, pretending to try on jackets and hats. But it was all a setup. They snatched the gear and bolted for the parking lot. That's where Michael Livy comes in. He was just out there working on his car when he noticed the crew running out with stolen clothes. Trying to stop them, Michael jumped on their car and started smashing the windshield. Charleston had a gun on him. He handed it off to one of his boys and told him to handle it. His homie pulled the trigger and shot Michael right there in the parking lot. Then they peeled out of there laughing, while Michael Levy lay dying behind them, absolutely cold-blooded. Everybody in that getaway car got slapped with a homicide charge, and Charleston landed right back in juvie. Normally with a case that serious, once you turn 18, they ship you off to real prison, no questions asked. But Charleston just kept digging a deeper hole for himself while locked up. Instead of laying low and staying out of trouble, he did the opposite. Inside juvie, Charleston joined the Crips and stirred up non-stop drama. He told DJ Vlad that he wasn't just repping the gang, he was leading it. Charleston said he was starting riots, running things like a shot caller, and bringing the chaos inside the walls. It looked like he was destined to rot behind bars forever, until something wild happened. Out of nowhere, a few folks inside the system took a chance on him. Charleston admitted He used to hate white people and carried a ton of resentment toward black men. But guess what? It was exactly 2 white women and 2 black men who stepped in to save his future. These 4 risked everything for him: jobs, reputations, all of it. When Charleston hit 18, he was supposed to be transferred to big boy prison. But these 4 people begged the judge to give him another shot, saying Charleston had something in him worth saving. And crazy enough, the judge listened. Instead of tossing him into adult prison, the judge gave him a second chance and sent him back to juvie to finish out more time. Charleston ended up doing 3 more years and didn't get out till he was 21. He spent a total of 7 years locked up, getting what he said was top-tier counseling and support.
Charleston White, you was a bitch, boy. Motherfucker went to pointing who did what, who, man. We was about to whoop your ass when you come back down here from Texas.
But even with all that, the streets were still calling. The second he got out, everybody around him was deep in the hustle, and Charleston jumped right back into that life like he never left.
Yeah, that nigga T.I. son say, nigga, I'll whoop your old ass. Now T.I., you raising these kind of little yellow motherfuckers? You got a yellow motherfucker, look how your son look, talking about he'll jump on a 50-something-year-old nigga.
Charleston used to bounce between crews. One minute he was chilling with weed dealers, so he got into selling weed too. Then he linked up with crack pushers and jumped into that game. He even started robbing houses and got into pimping on the side. It was full-blown street life. But he nearly lost it all when he got busted smuggling weed across state lines. It was looking bad, real bad. But once again, Charleston caught a lucky break. The case ended in a mistrial. And instead of going away for years, he only got hit with 5 years of probation. That close call woke him up. Charleston realized he couldn't keep living reckless, especially since he just had his first kid. Becoming a father flipped a switch in him. He didn't want his son growing up the same way he did. So he started making changes, big ones. He launched a community outreach program and even enrolled in college to study criminal justice. Charleston was out here trying to save kids from the same traps he fell into. And for a while, he was doing real good, keeping young people out the streets and making a difference. But then he figured out that he could go viral way faster by shaking things up online. Instead of spreading positive messages, Charleston went full shock mode. He started beefing with some of the wildest rappers in the game to grab attention. And that's when things really took a turn. He still claimed he was trying to stop kids from going down violent paths. But now he was online threatening to shoot people and going toe-to-toe with rappers. He clashed with a bunch of them, but his beef with Soulja Boy really stood out, and it didn't stay online. Soulja Boy ain't from the trenches, but he wanted people to think he was about that life. So he started repping Fruittown, Peru like he was deep in it. Charleston wasn't buying any of it. He called Soulja out and said, he ain't never had no ops. Soulja Boy had even lied about getting caught in shootouts before. But nobody thought he'd actually do anything to Charleston. Just a few weeks after all that online trash talk, Soulja Boy and his crew finally caught up with Charleston down in Miami, and things got intense fast. Soulja rolled up deep, rolling with about 10 dudes, ready to put pressure on Charleston. It looked like he was about to get jumped on the spot until he flipped the script. Charleston pulled out a can of mace and sprayed the whole crew. Total chaos broke out. Soulja Boy and his boys got hit in the face and stumbled back, coughing and crying. They scrambled back to their van and dipped out fast. No hands thrown, just mace in the face, and it shut everything down. Charleston wasted no time hopping on IG Live and clowning the whole situation. He laughed about how he maced the whole gang and sent them running. Folks might not really be scared of Soulja Boy, but this wasn't the only time Charleston had to pull out that pepper spray. Later, he found himself in another tight spot, this time in Arizona. Charleston was there to take part in a fight for the Influencer Championship Boxing League. But before the event even went down, things almost got violent again. Why? Because Charleston had dissed Nipsey Hussle, and not lightly either.
Say, T.I., listen, if your boy jump on me, y'all will bury that yellow motherfucker. I shoot him right in his goddamn throat.
Nipsey was beloved across the rap world before his tragic death. But Charleston stirred up serious heat when he said Nip didn't deserve any respect since he was repping the Rollin 60s gang before he passed. Some guys who were Nipsey fans spotted Charleston while he was out in Arizona and decided to check him. They rolled up and started pressing him over what he said. Once again, Charleston was outnumbered, and things looked like they were about to explode. But just like in Miami, he pulled out that trusty pepper spray and let it loose on the whole crew. Then he jumped online, claiming the guys who pressed him were part of Sauce Walka's TSF crew. Wild scenes everywhere he goes. Charleston claimed Sauce Walka was right there when he maced those dudes, but Sauce quickly shut that down. Sauce jumped in to clear his name and said, yeah, those were his homies, but they weren't part of his official TSF crew. He made it crystal clear that he wasn't even at the scene when it all popped off. And Sauce had some strong words too. He said real gangsters shouldn't even be beefing with Charleston White in the first place. He called Charleston a wild mix between Batman and the Joker and said anybody getting into it with him is just a straight-up clown. Sauce even clowned the dudes who tried to press Charleston, saying they didn't even know Nipsey Hussle like that, and said they got exactly what they deserved when they got hit with the pepper spray. But that was just one of the wild moments Charleston had in Arizona. He also had beef with the guy he was supposed to box in the influencer fight, and that mess went public real fast. Right before the match, Charleston clowned the dude right in front of everybody, disrespecting him heavy. Things got so heated, the whole fight ended up being canceled. Some folks think the drama before the match might have been staged to build hype. But what happened next proved not everything around Charleston is fake. Some people really want to throw hands with him. At one of his comedy shows in Texas, Charleston was doing his usual routine, but things went left when he started disrespecting someone in the crowd. Nobody knows exactly what set it off, but Charleston started yelling at this one dude and even threw a drink in his direction. Big mistake. That same dude jumped up on stage, and he didn't come alone. He brought his whole crew. They stormed the stage and chased Charleston right out the building. After the madness, Charleston tried to play it off online like it was nothing. But everyone saw what really happened. He got run up out of there for real. Most people first heard about Charleston White when he came out saying something wild. He was glad King Von was dead. That sent shockwaves through the rap world. King Von had a heavy rep in Chicago, known for allegedly being involved in multiple shootings, but he still had major love in the industry. So when Charleston started talking reckless about him after he passed, people were stunned. Von wasn't around to defend his name, but his close friend 600 Breezy wasn't having it. Breezy came up in Chicago repping the Black Disciples. And when he caught wind of Charleston's disrespect, things almost turned ugly real fast. Charleston got booked to attend a movie premiere out in Mississippi. He flew in like it was just another gig and got scooped from the airport by the guys who hired him. They took him straight to a house deep in the hood, real low-key. But here's the crazy part. Charleston had no idea that 600 Breezy was in the movie and was already at the crib when he pulled up. Breezy was outside chilling when Charleston arrived, and he didn't even recognize him at first. Charleston went inside like everything was cool. But that's when one of Breezy's homies started filling him in, telling Breezy all about the wild stuff Charleston had been saying about King Von.
I had just bought this mace gun, and it come with a water canister to test, and then it come with the mace to put in there. So I was shooting the water tester gun.
Then they pulled up the videos, full clips of Charleston dragging Von's name through the mud. That's when Breezy walked inside and confronted Charleston face to face. It got tense. Breezy later said he thought about swinging, but there were a bunch of OGs in the room, and he decided to chill out. And it's a good thing he didn't throw a punch, because Charleston is known for calling the cops on rappers. He's got no problem picking up the phone if things go left. In fact, Charleston told Breezy straight up that he'd roll into Chicago with the whole sheriff's department backing him. Charleston don't care about street codes or gang politics. He even tried to get some of Breezy's ops locked up just to stir the pot even more. King Yella, a known gangster disciple from Chicago, wasn't about to stay quiet when Charleston White started disrespecting his fallen homie, FBG Duck. Charleston ran his mouth, and Yella fired back. They started trading shots online. But Charleston doesn't just argue, he hits with legal heat. He went straight to the cops. At the time, King Yella had moved out of Chicago and was living in Las Vegas. So Charleston picked up the phone and called the Las Vegas police, claiming Yella was making threats. But he didn't stop there. He turned it up another level and called Yella's parole officer too. That's when Yella realized what was up. If he kept going back and forth with Charleston, he could end up back behind bars. So he backed off and let it go, knowing the risk wasn't worth it. Then Charleston locked horns with Lil Boosie, and that almost turned real ugly. It all started when Boosie clowned Kanye West for wearing a White Lives Matter shirt. But Charleston flipped it on him and said Boosie, and rappers like him, had caused way more harm to the culture than Kanye ever did. Charleston called out how Boosie and other street rappers glamorize violence, while Kanye, at least, was trying to make moves to free Larry Hoover, the founder of the Gangsta Disciples. Kanye might have rocked a controversial shirt, but Charleston said he was actually doing something for the community, while the rappers just talk. Things kept heating up when Charleston started dissing Boosie's son, Tootie Raw. Since Tootie was close with T.I.'s son, King, Charleston took shots at King too. Now T.I. is certified, he came from the streets for real, but his son King grew up in luxury, surrounded by fame and money. Still, King acts like he's straight out the trenches, trying to prove he's tough. When Charleston started clowning him, King fired back and said he'd put hands on Charleston if they crossed paths. That's when Charleston dragged T.I. into it too, saying the real problem was how he raised his son. No boundaries, no filters. Charleston was ready to go after everybody. In that same wild video, Charleston White didn't hold back. He straight up said he was ready to end someone T.I.'s son if it came to that. King had said he wanted to lay hands on Charleston, but Charleston clapped back hard, saying he'd shoot King in the throat if he ever tried to press him. It wasn't just internet talk, this got real tense, real fast. T.I. wasn't about to let that slide. He fired back with a diss track called Steppin' Raps, throwing direct shots. He rapped, "First your master got you, then them whites and Charleston bought you to the point you think folks on IG care about you? What a day my son responds to what an expletive say." He even said he ended up online arguing with a clown who'd do anything for clout. T.I., Boosie, and their sons were all heated and ready to ride on Charleston. But despite all the tension, nothing physical ever went down. Charleston turned it up even more by calling T.I. a snitch. T.I. dropped the track, and Boosie, knowing how far things could go, smartly said he wasn't going to speak on the beef anymore or he might end up back behind bars. Boosie kept it cool, but his son, Tootie Raw, kept throwing shots, and that cost him. Charleston claimed Tootie was sending him threats and flexing guns online, so Charleston did what he always does. He called the cops.
I ain't really got no opinion on him because, my opinion can send me to prison.
He told them Tootie Raw was out here strapped and wildin'. Just a few weeks later, boom. Tootie got picked up on gun and drug charges. Word on the street is that Charleston's phone call kicked it all off. By this point, Charleston had fully cemented himself as the most hated figure in hip-hop. He was always dragging rappers and calling law enforcement like it was part of his brand. Now, the tables are turning. The same way he called the cops on everybody else, Charleston started getting locked up too, and the internet isn't showing him any sympathy. After blowing up online, Charleston tried switching it up, doing comedy shows and even starring in an indie movie called Wrong Address. For a minute, it looked like he was building something legit outside of social media drama. But of course, he got pulled right back into trouble. In 2023, Charleston got booked on animal cruelty charges, adding even more mess to his already insane rap sheet. Just 1 year later, Charleston White found himself back in cuffs, again facing animal cruelty charges, plus an aggravated assault case. This time, things got even messier. A wild video surfaced showing Charleston macking and spitting on a cat. That's where the new animal cruelty charge allegedly came from. But Charleston tried to downplay it, saying he only sprayed the cat with water, not pepper spray. As for the assault charge, Charleston claimed someone attacked him while he was sleeping, and that he grabbed his gun and stepped outside to protect his wife. What actually went down that night? Nobody knows for sure. But the drama didn't stop there. By October 2024, he was once again booked on more animal cruelty and assault charges. It's still unclear whether those were new cases or old ones catching up to him, but just like before, Charleston posted bond fast and was right back online, acting like nothing happened. For a while, he laid low. But then came February 2025. Boom! News dropped that Charleston had just been hit with another aggravated assault with a deadly weapon charge. The details? Still under wraps. But it's looking rough, like really rough, for Charleston White. Remember when Charleston was all over social media flashing stacks of cash and talking wild? Well, after that 2024 arrest, a dude named Lil Woody exposed him, saying Charleston was begging for $10,000 just to bond out. That image of him being rich and untouchable, gone. Let's be real. A lot of people have been waiting to see Charleston fall off, and now, it finally looks like it's happening. He spent years running his mouth, dissing dead rappers, snitching on gang members, and making enemies with everybody. He even crossed the line by going at black folks with African roots. It wasn't just beef anymore, it was full-blown chaos. And now, after all the noise, Charleston's stuck in the same system he used to weaponize against others. He had made it out the trenches, was doing real work helping troubled kids, and could have changed lives. But once he got that social media fame, it all went downhill fast. Charleston thought he could reach more youth by going viral. But instead, he got caught up in clout chasing, nonstop beef, and reckless drama. Now it looks like he's right back where he started, behind bars. If you've been keeping up with Charleston's wild ride, let us know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. See y'all on the next one.